There's been many tragedies hockey over the years where players are either injured or killed or suffer severe situations that limit their career or end their career. Now, this guy was one of them, and unfortunately, the way his life concluded wasn't fair to him, wasn't fair to his family. So today we're talking about that big, tall drink of water, Don Ashby. The native of Kamloops, BC, was drafted 6th overall in 75 by the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Pro Hockey Center played 6 seasons in the NHL from 75, 76, 80, 81, and also skated with Edmonton Oilers. Now, Ashby played 188 career NHL games, scoring 40 goals, 56 assists, and 96 points. Again, drafted 6th overall by the Maple Leafs in the 75 NHL Amateur Draft. Now, last team was the Calgary of the WCHL. He broke in with Kamloops of the BCJHL in 73, scored 22 goals. And with Calgary of the WCHL, the Calgary Canadians, he had 22 points in 36 games. 74, his non-draft year, he had 68 points in 68 games, including 30 counters. In 1975, he had 52 goals, 120 points, with 71 minutes and penalties. And, of course, Toronto was very high on him. He debuted with Toronto on October 11, 1975. Now, this is kind of weird because he wore several numbers in Toronto, including the famous number 9. Also skated with Colorado and played in Edmonton as well. Now, he only played 12 career playoff games with Toronto and Edmonton. Again, 40 goals, 96 points, 188 games. Now, he played in the first Edmonton Oilers NHL team. He was left wing on a line with Gretzky during his 6th contest with Edmonton in 1980. He had 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists in Edmonton's March 29, 80 game at Toronto. Now, he played with numerous minor league teams, including Oklahoma City and Dallas of the CHL, as well as Fort Worth and Wichita. And, of course, he was very popular in New Brunswick when he played with the Chicago-Toronto combination affiliate, New Brunswick Hawks of the AHL. Now, he was the CHL All-Star First Team in 81 with Wichita, drafted number 3 overall by Baltimore, the Blades, in 75. Now, his rights were eventually claimed by Calgary after Baltimore folded and was taken during a June 75 special draft of players from defunct WHA squads. Ironically, he settled most of the 79 season in retirement. He started a campaign in the minors, was called up to Toronto, then chose to announce retirement, then return to the minors. He came after retirement after Toronto traded him to Colorado. Again, he was the second leading scorer in the 81 CHL playoffs. Now, he died from injury, suffering a head-on car crash in Summerlin, BC on May 30, 81. The accident took 12 days after Ashby's Wichita team lost to Salt Lake in the CHL title series. Ashby, then only 26, have returned home to BC for the summer. The CHL eventually renamed as Ironman Award the Don Ashby Memorial Trophy in 1981. Wichita players also wore a patch honoring Ashby's number 18 for the 82 season, and of course his great nickname was Ants. Now, a very strange deal didn't benefit Toronto but hurt Toronto. Toronto traded Ashby and Trevor Johansson to Colorado in exchange for Paul Gardner. That was a guy that didn't meet his potential on March 13th, 1979. So more about the accident. A few days after finishing the 81 season, in which Ashby played with the wind, he and his wife Terry were involved in a car accident in Okanagan Valley. The vehicle that were driving was hit head-on by a pickup truck. Ashby was critically injured in the accident that occurred again in the Okanagan Valley. Both he and his wife were taken to the hospital in Kelowna, where he died afterwards from massive internal injuries. His wife Terry survived the accident and was treated in a hospital. His funeral was held a few short days later on June 3rd. Again, rotten situation. Rookie season with Toronto, 21 points in 50 games, including 6 goals. Also played with Oklahoma City at CHL that year, 23 points in 26 contests. 77 with the Leafs, 42 points, 19 counters, a very, very solid campaign. This is the year he played I think he played the Flyers that year. Also played with the Blackhawks in the CHL with 1 goal in 3 games. 78 with Toronto, a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. Played most of the year in Dallas. 14 goals, 28 assists for 42 points. Another tough start to the season, Toronto in 79. Played 3 games in NHL, sent to the Brunswick Hawks, but he said he didn't want to stay and was eventually traded to Colorado, where he had 5 points in 12 games. 1980 with Colorado, he had 1 assist in 11 games. He also played with Fort Worth, where he had 27 goals, 27 assists for 54 points. But on Gretzky's line, he had 19 points in 18 games, including 10 counters with 3 playoff contests. 81, 5 points with Edmonton, and was played most of the season with the Wichita Wind. 96 points in 70 games, 36 goals, and 25 points in 18 big contests in the postseason. CHL totals, very strong. 87 goals, 129 assists for 216 points, 44 points in the postseason with 18 goals. Now, Don, basically, just like Stan Weir, Toronto needed strength on the third line, and he was going to give them that. But I think he had a hard time dealing with Harold Ballard. He had a hard time dealing with, he had a certain type of game. Just like B.J. McDonald, he needed a strong shooter or a strong passer like Sittler and McDonald to make his game work. My buddy from the North Shore always said he was a poor man's Peter Mahovlich. But Ashby and playing for New Brunswick, it was kind of a shame because there was you couldn't learn anything in the minors. He had an NHL style game. But it's kind of interesting playing with Gretzky. Gretzky was playing with a whole bunch of different line mates back in the day, especially in the 1980 season. Because Gretzky at one point, to my knowledge, was getting triple team, which means he had two partners he was playing with. So technically, it was 4 lines, but Gretzky was playing on 3 of those lines. Like the 2 extra players, he'd play with them on 4th line to give them a chance to play. Because Gretzky would improve the defensive game of these players because he would feed them. Now, there's, I think, some film out there when Don Ashby came back to Toronto, where I think he scored quite a bit of points. Like it said, the 6 points there. I think that's Gretzky's first visit to Maple Leaf Gardens. I could be wrong here. But you think of the Toronto Maple Leafs that got away, he's another one of them, because I was always high on Don Ashby. Because anybody plays with Calgary, especially in the junior CHL, the Centennials were a good team back then. And Ashby could have easily played at the World Championships for Team Canada. That's what I thought. Maybe if he would have lived, maybe he would be part of our 84 Olympic team. I would sign him in a minute. And Tom Watt once said, that's a future Team Canada player because of his dedication to hockey. So that's the story of Ants, the very popular of Don Ashby. If you like what we're doing here with our sports history podcasts as part of Sports File, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.